What's up, everybody, and welcome back. I'm Prime, and today I just wanted to go over rider gear. So there's a lot to it, but I'm going to start off by the seasonal branches because they're extremely necessary to level up your gear. And actually, this is a good place to start because this is a mistake I see made a lot. People actually claim the elite pieces. You never want to do that. You just want to claim the shards that are when you slide over to the right. So you'd want to claim the shards for whatever the primary or whatever you need, really. I guess you could need the secondary element as well. So whatever you need at the time, you want to claim those shards rather than these elite pieces. It's going to cost you significantly less shards to craft those pieces because you get elite drops 5% of the time. So out of every 20, you're going to get an elite drop. If you look here, out of every 20, you're going to get an elite drop. Let's say we're going to build Vitality Shield. And I think they're different prices. So, for example, Vitality Pants, you're going to use 2,240 and 3,000. And the crafting scrolls I don't really worry about just because I have so many from the personal achievements in Atlas events, and you'll have the same as long as you're active in Atlas. But the shards are really cheap, so even if that was 3,000 and 3,000, it would take a lot to add up to 500,000. And over time, you technically are going to average one elite piece per 20 crafted, so it's going to make a lot of sense, and I would highly recommend doing it that way and claiming the shards rather than the gear, because you can craft the gear easily enough. Then I wanted to go over, let's take a look. So Elite Gear gives you a 100% boost to both attack and HP at max level. And then Mythic Gear is going to give you 110% attack and HP at max level. So it's not a huge difference, but obviously it adds up and you might as well have it if you can get it. So I just got my Mythic Gear for defense. Obviously I haven't leveled any of them yet. It's not gear crafting, and I prefer to level only in gear crafting if I can. And I think that's worth it to go for Mythic as long as you're active. But the Elite Gear gives 100%. Then you go down to the Legendary at 80% and 80%, and then you go down to Epic at 40%, 40%. Rare is then at 20%, 20%. I think it makes a lot of sense to just keep going until you get all Elite Gear. I don't think Legendary Gear makes sense. I would keep the Legendary Gear probably, like to keep one extra piece Legendary each in case you have to have another set, and then you can at least start off by putting them on a rider. It's only 50 rubies to remove them from the riders, so I highly recommend doing that. Actually, I would never keep rare or epic pieces, but legendary I might keep one of each piece of gear just in case I want to have a head start on another dragon, but I haven't run into that yet. But I also don't have a full sets of everything. I've got Housing Gear, that's pretty good. I didn't finish the HP. And then I have Dross Gear I'm working on. That's all grayed out. But yeah, this is just junk gear from when I started because I haven't actually worked on any of this Dross stuff because I don't really fly Dross much these days. But I do have 5 pieces of Elite for Calivore. That's what I'm crafting right now, is Calivore's gear. Not that I have him yet, but I will. And then I want to go over the cost. So the cost is kind of interesting because the way it works is Mythic Gear all uses the same secondary. So all 4 of these pieces are going to be a secondary of Wind Gear, which to me is good because I don't have Wind Gear to level up, so I have extra Wind Shards that I can use to level that stuff up. But then if you go to the regular gear, the secondaries are Dark, Ice, and Fire. So they have 3 different elements. Everything but Wind are the normal elements, at least for Earth Gear. So I think let's take a look. So the numbers make it very expensive to level up this gear. So to level up each elite piece is going to be 1,026,600 of the primary shards and 822,100 of the secondary shards. So obviously those numbers times 8, you're going to spend over 8 million just in the primary gear, primary shards alone. So you're really going to want to go down those seasonal lines because that adds up to a lot. I've gone through so much, and I keep claiming more shards, and I still don't have that much. I still have 1.84 million Earth, but that's not even close. That's maxing out 2 pieces, and then I can max out 2 pieces of wind gear, so or the wind secondary. So it ends up being super expensive to level up. The legendaries are not cheap enough to me to warrant leveling them up, and I would never recommend leveling up legendary gear. I would just keep it at level 1 and throw it on a dragon in the meantime if you just want to like buff a dragon that you just got or whatever until you decide to put elite gear on him if you choose to take your rider off another dragon. But yeah, so it gets extremely expensive. And then if you look at Mythic Gear, it's 1.345 million, almost 1.346 million for the primary, and 997,100 for the secondary. So you're looking at a lot of shards to level up Mythic Gear. So I intend to get the other half of this gear, and it's just going to cost a fortune to level up. But it is worth it. You're going to get 110% attack and HP once you have like the full set. So I think that's worth it for an extra 10% to level those, because it's actually, I mean, it's more expensive than the elite gear to level up, but I think it's worth it. I'm only going to do it once because it's my defense gear, so I'm not going to do it multiple times. I will try to get my mythic gear for attack sooner or later. I want to wait and see if I prefer Calivore over Hausen, or which one I think is going to be more deserving of the mythic gear before I decide what I want to do there. But I am going to get some mythic gear for an offensive rider at some point, but not yet. And yeah, so I think I've gone over pretty much everything I want to. Just keep grinding Atlas. That's like the main thing. I know a lot of people don't like Atlas, but I'm going to come out with some more stuff about Atlas because it's just incredibly important to be able to get these boosts. You know, my dragon is twice as strong as other dragons, you know, if I level up my elite gear over somebody that doesn't have gear. To me, if you can make your dragons over 2 times stronger, because you can do that. But yeah, there's so many other prizes that are great too. You know, 300,000 shards for these. 300,000. I think those are all 300,000. And, you know, obviously the 500,000 for each individual piece of gear. The red dragon rider shards are huge. And then you get some egg tokens and stuff as well. So I think it's worth it to just grind away at these and try to get as much glory as you can for that reason. There's a new season that starts in 4 days from when I'm recording this. I highly recommend building up troops and trying to go around and see what you can get for glory starting at the beginning of the season so that you can make your base and or dragons much stronger. I think it's well worth it investment in the time you're going to spend, because it's going to pay off greatly. So I highly recommend doing that. If you have any questions, please leave them down below if I forgot to touch on anything. I think I've gone over everything I wanted to. The upgrades, you know what, I didn't go over one thing. The upgrades do take a lot of time. So starting at level 1, it's only a 3-hour upgrade to go from level 1 to level 2 on gear. But once you're talking going up to leveling from level 9 to level 10, it's 15 and a half hours. So if you were going to speed those up, that would cost you a lot. The level 9 to level 10 would cost you 769 rubies, which I guess really isn't that bad. You can level up from 1 to 10 if you just speed them all up with rubies from the beginning for just under 3,900 rubies. So if you do have a billion shards, you could just instantly upgrade your gear and do it that way. I don't, because I just would rather not spend the rubies, and I'd just take my time, so I think it's better that way. But yeah, time to upgrade is something to take into account. A lot of people like to, for that reason, unlock these next 2 slots. I haven't decided to do it yet. I might do that 4th slot soon. I don't know what the 5th one costs off the top of my head, but $24.50 for the 4th slot isn't that bad, so I would recommend doing that. Just because when you're in the gear crafting event, I do like to max that out every time. And so if you are trying to max it out, it's going to be significantly easier if you can load up another one, unless you're just using rubies to speed them up, and then you really don't need the slot at all if you're just using rubies. So, but anyways, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Or hope you enjoyed the video, rather. And if you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe for my future War Dragons attacks, and have a great day.